Before I'm Kwaba, Ediba Fuka TV. So the Tuesday edition of the Black Man's and the Thursday edition of the Black Man's and the Atanasia, the Ebro. Okay, I'm a catcher. Say last time I know Dr.Maulana Chicken Comono. Kaya say ne ebetuaso with the part 2. Etino menko baby ah. Shenos mama say oheneba Ghana rice eboa me emtini dwumede na etimi de bro. Around so na Debbie's makeover, Debbie's collection for and so eating eboa pizzeria food delivery and afien you know. RLC Media College, Munina Eboa, and Metim Jumedian 18 Edinburgh. You are welcome to Foka TV. Today, we will continue the part 2 of the discussion we had with Dr. Maulana, the founder of Ministry of the Future. And today, we are going to go deep into how, when the new government came in power in 2017, was able to work with them as from 34 people having citizenship in 2016. So we have Dr. Maulana here that we are going to talk to him more about the citizenship, and this is a continuation of the previous episode. So don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back right now.
This show is proudly brought to you by Oheneba Ghana Rice, Amen Mat, Becky Bell Homemade Pizza, Debbie's Collection, Ma Docker's Pastries, Pizzeria Food Delivery.
And if I say Wakwaba, Ediba Foka TV. So and then so Yansaka, Dr. Maulana, was the founder of Ministry of the Future NGO. Ekua Ebua Emma Yanoma more American, so it's a citizenship. That is 2016 and now it's 2019. Dr. Maulana, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Frank. Yes.
The last episode we were talking about the role you played in the previous government, that is the NDC John Dramani Mahama's government, how by the help of His Excellency Kwesi Kwete, how he helped you to convince the president for you to award citizenship to some African Americans. So when the new government came, were you still in touch, or you were just because you were able to convince the previous government? In Ghana, we play politics a lot. Were you sidelined?
No, first of all, let me correct you. The citizenship was not confined to African Americans. No. The great majority of the ones who got their citizenship on my watch in 2016 were Africans of the diaspora. Okay. And there was a combination of a large group really within there that were African American. Okay. But what had happened was that as a result of that, we were told that Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they all had heard about this, CNN, the different medias around the world, and so it became like a tsunami. Now, all of a sudden, the consciousness of the Africans of the diaspora, who had been, you know what I mean, like sitting on the fence about coming back to Africa, now they wanted to get serious, that they say, Ghana is giving citizenship to Africans of the diaspora. And yes, so as we entered into 2017, the most important date to get the new government involved, from what I could understand, was the Emancipation Day celebration on the 1st of August at Asim Manso. And I was one of the keynote speakers, and I have it on video to show the evidence. And I mentioned while all the dignitaries were sitting on the high table from the ministries, from Ghana Tourism Authority, Ministry of Tourism, etc. And I made the speech to the effect to say that in the previous government, the Honorable Kwesi Kwate and I had been able to convince government to give citizenship to Africans of the diaspora, and by virtue of doing that, we were now on the road to bringing economic, if you will, dynamics to Ghana from the Africans of the diaspora. And I said that the Africans of the diaspora have a tremendous economy in the United States of America, African Americans. And if we could just give them their citizenship, they will deposit their monies in your Bank of Ghana. And I think this was the cue. So that was on the 1st of August, 2017. Now, as we entered, let me back up a moment, as we entered into 2017, coming out of 2016, I was invited to the office of the president, and that was at Jubilee House. And we have it in our calendar that I was invited to bring 4 members, no more than 4, of Ministry of the Future, that the Office of the President, Director of Diaspora Affairs, his Deputy Director, wanted to engage us to know how did we go about getting citizenship under the previous government. So I came on the 22nd of January 2017 to the Office of the President. I sat there with 3 of my other colleagues of Ministry of the Future, and I unfolded the complete roadmap and blueprint. And they took notes, and this is what happened then. And this was really, in my opinion, this was formulating the foundational basis for the genesis of the year of return. It was a takeoff from this.
Okay. So let's say when you started with the year of return in 2017 at Asin Manso, how was the program? Was it a connection between the Ministry of the Future and the Ghana Tourism Authority, or with the people of Asin Manso? How was it done?
No, in 2017, by that time, Ministry of the Future had been introduced to the Ghana Tourism Authority. Definitely, we were dead center in liaisoning with them. And then at the same time, I must admit that I had started a program about 3 years before then, trying to resurrect our late Queen Mother, the Akosa Henima, which was Mignon Phillips. And her stool name was Nana Essie Boa the First. And her surrogate sister, who I brought to introduce, the formal introduction was on the date of the ceremony of Emancipation Day, August the 1st. And that was Nana Ama Mawusi, the first, who would be the surrogate mother representing the Queen Mother, Mignon Phillips. You understand what I'm saying? And so that was very key. And the traditional council of Asin Manso gave me the credibility where they recognized me. And that's how I got the platform to speak. It was through the traditional, not anyone else. It was the Asin Manso Traditional Council that said, we're going to give you a platform to speak, and we would like to work with you if you can help us to develop this area. So this got Ministry of the Future the credibility, and this is all still now in the early part of 2017. And so Ministry of the Future start producing educational fora. Educational programs throughout the year 2017, going up to Asin Manso, teaching with Dr. Kambon, Obadale Kambon, the University of Ghana. I mean, the year of return did not fall from the sky. No. It didn't fall from the sky. There were committed people on the ground that sacrificed for decades, over 35 years, working to get the right of return. They gave impotence and birth to the year of return. And so at the Institute of African Studies, with Dr. Obadale Kambon's department, he allowed us to have his platform. We were given on a weekly basis educational outreach, educating Ghanaians, educating Africans of the diaspora, the dynamics and meaning of the right to return. And out of that, obviously, would give rise to the year of return.
Okay. So let's go back to Asin Manso. You see, when we went to Asin Manso, I think you brought a number of people from all walks of life to join your team at the runabout, Accra Mall, all the way to Elmina Castle, then Asin Manso. On whose account and who was supporting that particular trip?
No, we didn't get any support. This was the initiative of Ministry of the Future. We footed the bill of getting our people, not only that one time, we did it several times. We did get assistance, and I must give credibility, in the year of 2019, that the Ghana Tourism Authority, they loaned us one bus. That was the contribution that they made to Ministry of the Future, but that was in 2019. But before then, the groundwork of education. See, educational outreach is paramount. You got to educate the people. We were educating Ghanaians. We were educating tourists. We were going to Cape Coast Slave Castle, going to Elmina, then going over to Asin Manso, going down to the Slave River. And then I wrote the narrative of the return bath because it was embarrassing. I felt they're talking about the Slave River. It's demeaning, very demeaning to our people to talk about the last bout. So I said, if they took the last bout, we're going to correct that. We're going to make that the return bout. And we are the descendants of them returning. And we are knocking down the barriers that brought our people into the last bout. We are the new children coming in, the return, what we call, excuse me, the return bout. Yes. And now, of course, it has become incorporated into the visitation of tourists at Asin Manso. Now they have a return bath ceremony. But Ministry of the Future had that going years before then. Let me tell you. Yes.
Wow. So let's move to 2019, year of return. How did your organization, as you did in 2016, try to convince this particular government? Because this time around the numbers was not 30 something citizenship,
but this 252.
That was 52.
252.
Wow. So what was the difference between you even having somebody in the previous government as a friend was able to get only 34?
But that individual was no longer here. The public must understand, when we went into 2017, the Honorable or His Excellency Ni Kwesi Kwate was drafted into the African Union as the vice chair. He was moved to Addis Ababa. So I had to carry the cross. I had to carry this load in 2017, 2018, 2019. And so the issue was, we had done it before. I had written the narrative in 2016. And so I wrote the narrative again. Submitted to His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo and to the Honorable Minister Gary of the Ministry of the Interior. And I submitted it, and I worked very closely with the Director of Administrative Affairs in the Ministry of the Interior, with one Madame Kumi. And I was able enough diplomatically to navigate through these corridors. You understand? With diplomacy. And with diplomacy, tact, and skill. And I wrote the narrative about a 5-page paperwork submission on what we desired, still based upon those two principles. I've never left those two principles. That Ghana has a moral obligation. Yes, indeed. Ghana has a moral obligation to Africans of the diaspora by virtue of the number of slave forts that are still standing today in Ghana. And mind you, at the peak of slavery, there were 46. Today, there are 26 still standing, including Cape Coast, Elmina, and the rest. So having said that, applicants were coming to Ministry of the Future, and we were advised by the Office of the President, Director of Diaspora Affairs, to lay out the bioinformation. It will now be much more concise. Under the previous government, it was not that concise, the bioinformation. But now we were asked to do a spreadsheet and have all the bioinformation of each applicant in it. And I, along with my secretary at the time, we started with the late Brenda Muhammad, but she passed away, unfortunately. Then one Millie Tucker Asedu became like my right hand working with me. We put together 232 applications. And on the 22nd of November 2018, I hand carried 232 applications of Africans of the diaspora seeking to get their Ghanaian citizenship, and I made the presentation to the Director of Administrative Affairs in the Ministry of the Interior. I submitted the formal letter for His Excellency to consider us.
Okay.
And they told me to wait. And then lo and behold, the ancestors being so great, God Almighty being so great, we were told by early November that well, actually it was before it was on Ghana. Let me back up. It was in the newspaper, the government's official newspaper, the Graphic, on the 28th of May. Anyone can check it. Go to the archives library. The Ghana People's Graphic newspaper printed in the center page a photograph of those in the Ministry of the Interior, the Ghana Tourism Authority CEO, saying that the president has approved over 200 applications for Ghanaian citizenship. And I was so happy when I saw that. So the rest of it really was from that, and that was on the 28th of May, 2019. Okay. So from there, like I said, we went into Emancipation Day, was on the 1st, and I mentioned that a moment ago, what the manifestations of that was. And so it was pretty clear that it was going to be a done deal. And so in the second or third week in November, no, I believe it was in the first week in November, I'm sorry. The first week in November, we were given a list of those who would be approved for citizenship, and we were given the date, if you will, when they would walk, and it was clear, and then it was revealed to me for the first time, because I never submitted 252 applications. No. I submitted 232. And I knew all of Ministry of the Future, MOF, 232 were approved. But the additional 20, they came from other small NGOs that got on the bandwagon. And so on the 27th of November, at the Jubilee House Presidential Banquet Hall, the ceremony began where His Excellency bestowed citizenship upon 126 walked that night, and with the promise, the balance of 126 would subsequently get their Ghanaian citizenship.
Okay. Wow. So let's move from that way to another way. Let's talk about if an African American, a diaspora is watching you, and he will also love, or he or she also love to have a citizenship.
They should come through Ministry of the Future. My address, WhatsApp number, website number, email address will be on the screen. Ministry of the Future is working directly with the Office of the President, Director of Diaspora Affairs. And mind you, I must say this before we close. We didn't stop there. What Ministry of the Future, as well as other diasporans who are committed to this cause, we want to get a law that started in 1990 at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center on the road of trying to get government to enshrine a constitutional law that gives Africans of the diaspora who desire Ghanaian citizenship, irregardless of what political party is in power. And I can say right now, we have succeeded because Ghana has coming out now, and I believe it's been completed. I contributed I made submissions to this new bill because I was called in at the Office of the President in April of 2021 to make a submission on behalf of the African diaspora. And that is the Ghana Homeland Return Act. It is to give citizenship constitutionally to African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Let me repeat that again. African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, not just Africans of the diaspora. There's a big difference. African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. And I took part and submitted submissions to formulate this bill, and this bill is supposed to be out before this year end. So I would entreat all of you Africans of the diaspora, wherever you are, in Europe, descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, whether you're in Britain, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in the United States of America, Jamaica, throughout the Caribbean, Cuba, Brazil, all Central America, apply to Ministry of the Future. We can help you to get your Ghanaian citizenship. And mind you, before I close, what we did in Ghana has now influenced Sierra Leone, is giving Sierra Leonean citizenship based upon the Ghana model. Also the Gambia, based upon the Ghana model. Benin, and I understand Senegal is coming on board. So probably all of the African countries eventually will come aboard. And because we're coming home, and the future of Africa to be made great again will be depending on Africa receiving her sons and daughters who were taken into the transatlantic slave trade. Africa must take home that group to let them come back, because the cornerstone that has been rejected, the house could not stand. And it's been proven now that Africa will not move forward unless she brings her sons and daughters who were kidnapped and taken out, who desire to come back home. Ladies and gentlemen, that is through the Almighty's will. Whatever shall be, shall be. Kul fire kum.
Okay, Dr. Maulana, away from that, Emancipation Day is coming on, and I think everywhere is quiet. We don't know what is going on. Can you throw more light on Emancipation Day?
Well, I think one of the reasons that I think we must bring to light, the reason that we do not have the zest, the enthusiasm, and zeal. Now, there are still, don't get me wrong, no, Africans of the diaspora are queued throughout the United States, throughout the Caribbean, in Britain, in Canada, and some in Brazil, because we have clients all the way down in Brazil. They want to come, but this COVID-19 mandate has been an inhibiting factor. But I would say to you, the Ministry of the Future has been able to assist with an international medical card exempting all of our clients who do not want to take the vaccine. This medical card would validate you, whereas it will allow you to be recognized to enter on the airline, to travel, and to enter into any African country as long as you got this ID card. And Ministry of the Future can help you to get it. So I would entreat you to contact us so we can help you with that. But that's the reason, to answer your question, that there's not a lot of noise being made right now on the Emancipation Day, is because of the COVID mandate, and that has been an inhibiting factor, keeping out many Africans of the diaspora.
Okay. But what about the indigenous here? Because it seems everything that is done in relation with the African Americans or the diasporans, we the indigenous here, people here, we know zero idea about it.
Well, you know, that has been one of the basic passions and complaints I've had. As you heard me say earlier, I taught at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center from 1990 until the year 2007. 17 consecutive years on a weekly basis. Come hell, rain, or shine, I was there. And people who have come through my class, big people, they're ministers now. And one of the things the reason I started that program, I noticed that the indigenous, if we want to call our brothers and sisters, didn't have a clue. Don't have a clue about what happened to us through the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. And so now all of these big programs are coming on. Emancipation Day, Panifest. And it appears that there are no infrastructure, educational outreach program to educate Ghanaians. And this is what Ministry of the Future is all about, to give seminars, symposia, to educate our people here. Because once our people here know the true story of what happened, we can move together. Because mind you, this is not a one-way avenue. This is a duality. That Africa's future depends on the indigenous people as well as the African of the diaspora. But if the African of the indigenous African on the continent, who was not kidnapped and does not have any information about the dynamics of the transatlantic slave trade, the systemic racism in the world, then it's going to make it difficult for us to move forward. And this is why it's imperative, it is paramount that we educate the African on the continent, and we give the African on the continent the structures and the benefit, a platform, so that they can be part and parcel of moving forward as we're going into this particular year of return, beyond the return. We can't do that without the indigenous African and the youth particularly.
Wow, wow, wow. Dr. Maulana, we thank you for your time today. Dr. Maulana, I tell and say on my mindset about Bibiano. We will have to end this episode here, and we will find time and visit Dr. Maulana again. But keep subscribing to Foka TV. We have more content for you. The Black Man Story, it comes your way every Tuesdays and every Thursday. We talk about black people. It's all about black love, not white hate. I repeat that again. It's all about black love, but not white hate. The show is heavily produced by Devlin Jackson, Miss Penny, Becky Bell, and also Ebenezer Mensah. Thank you very much.